bring them to the table for conversations and then discussions around them. And this money is not going to be an exemption because we are ready. And then we are set to discuss some salient national issues. Something pertaining to you and I, something pertaining to the Nigerian economy as we speak at this point in time. And it's been something eating deep into our system. It's been something that many people have to adjust at this time. So as just to be able to meet up with our daily needs and the likes like that. Once again, you're welcome to the program. My name is Oluwatayo Ajiwali. And of course, I'm reporting for duty once again this morning, the 10th day in the month of September 2024. You know, I told you when I was leaving the morning that I said we'll be talking about something very important, and it's still very important. We can't just stop talking about this thing. It's getting more interesting, and it's getting more interesting. Let me just put it that way, because at this time, many Nigerians are saying, can we still bear this? And many Nigerians are adjusting already. Many organizations are speaking, and they are saying, so a lot of things are at stake as we speak at this point in time. And this is what we'll be talking about. What am I talking about? Let's go straight to the business this morning. Still talking about the issue of petrol pump price hike at this time. Yeah, that's what we're talking about this morning. And then I'm just talking about it at this time. But we are talking about the economic impacts this morning. Many civil society organizations have come out, and many, even corporate manufacturing association of Nigeria, Manufacturers Association of Nigeria have come out. NECA has come out. So many people have come out to talk about this at this time, and they are saying this thing is something serious, and whether you like it or not, some people will lose their jobs. We're going to be looking at the economic implication of the petrol price hike this morning. And of course, I have with me in the studio, Kayode Ajani. Good morning, Kayode.
Good morning. Good morning, Tayo. Good morning, our listeners and viewers.
Interesting one. Just before we go on the program this morning, let me remind you that you can view us live on Facebook and watch us live on Facebook this morning at omoluwabi 87.7 FM. You can watch us live on Facebook this morning at omoluwabi 87.7 FM this morning. Then when the time comes to, you can just call us into the studios and then drop your comments and opinions as regards some of the things that we will be discussing on the program this morning. You can drop your comment on Facebook too this morning at omoluwabi 7.7 FM, because when the time comes, we will be reading your comments. Yes, of course, we'll be reading your comments. But like I said, we are currently streaming live on Facebook this morning at omoluwabi 87.7 FM. So go there, watch us live this morning, and drop your comments on Facebook this morning. We are currently streaming live, and then we are here already doing just what we know how to do this morning on the program this morning. Okay, I would implore you just to stay glued to your radio sets, and then just make sure that you join us on the program this morning. Yes, like I said earlier, we'll be talking about something very crucial and something very important. Talking about the economic implications and how some businesses and how Nigerians have got to readjust at this point in time as regards to the issue of the pump price hike of petrol. Yes, that's what we'll be talking about on the program this lovely Tuesday morning on the program Periscope right here on omoluwabi 87.7 FM. Kayode Ajani, I would love to take your view, your opinion as regards the current issue surrounding the issue of petrol scarcity, surrounding the issue of price hike. Many Nigerians have been coming. NECA have come out to speak. Even Nupeng spoke. TUC, NLC, they gave the federal government an ultimatum that if you don't reverse this, you should be expecting a shutdown of the old system. Kayode Ajani, can we afford another shutdown at this time?
Thank you so much. Well, let me start by saying that our economy revolves around the petroleum sector. Even our day-to-day activities revolves around it, because now that there has been an increase in the price of fuel, you see people, saying that yes, the cost of even going to work is even more than what they are earning at the end of the month. And by the time we sum all this together, we cannot remove the effect that the hike in petroleum will have on the daily activities of Nigerians. And as we speak currently, it is already having that adverse effect. We can see what is on our street, should I say poverty is everywhere as a result of fuel hike. And one of the things that actually wasn't produced to cushion the effect, where are they? These are issues around it. And
did you just say where are they? The federal government of Nigeria just recently launched the provision of CNG buses, even in your states. I think that was last week.
Do you know that I was reading a report online yesterday that for you to change your car to a CNG engine will cost nothing less than 850,000.
I'm talking about the federal government are introducing CNG buses.
Will the 10 buses be available? And will it even be enough?
Do you also remember?
They gave us 10. Yeah.
And can you also remember that the federal government said they will be selling rice for 40,000 naira?
Where are the selling spots up to today? Some
Nigerians are sabotaging the effort of the government as we speak.
Well, see, we did not vote people in to give us excuses. Yes, I think it is the time that we need to, speak into truth into power, that, we have given you guys enough time, and Nigerians did not voted for you to come and be giving them excuses on a daily basis that you are overwhelmed, overpowered when you have all the resources.
All right, sir.
We are talking about government with unlimited access to state powers. So what are we saying?
Okay. Moving on this morning, let's talk about why we are here this morning. The economic impact of the petrol pump hike on Nigerians. And then various organizations have been talking. New Pen came on board, they spoke. The Trade Union Congress came on, they said the same thing. The Nigerian Labour Congress also came on board and they spoke. All of these organizations saying this will have a great deal impact on business in Nigeria. And it will definitely affect the Nigerian economy, everything in Nigeria. And this is it is very important that we curtail this at this point in time. He said there's a strong chance that business will stop production.
Well, just as I said earlier, it is already affecting it. That's the fact. What we are going to witness in days or weeks to come might be very bad than this. And that is why we will not stop talking. Because even before now, many manufacturing companies have actually left Nigeria because of the fact that they could not afford the cost of production, especially when it relates to energy, power, fuel. Now then, as at the time when they left, things were still somehow fair then. Just now compared now, then and now. So definitely, a lot is going to happen. A lot is going to happen in our manufacturing sector. And then beyond that, I am also of the opinion that we cannot, remove the big picture of fuel when it comes to our daily life. Just as I said earlier, just imagine, currently now, we do not have stable electricity. That's a fact. And most households relies heavily on, they are generating their own power by themselves in the case of generator and so on. So by the time you sum all this together, you will see that we are sitting on a keg of gunpowder. That's the fact. And okay.
Let's move on this morning. I want us to listen to the DG Lagos Chamber of Commerce and Industries, Chinyere Mona. Speaking this morning, he also said employees will start demanding for higher wages in business, and then business will have to pass the cost on consumers, and at the end of the day, consumers are the ones that will suffer.
It is already happening, but the question is that can we even afford it? Most of the transporters have actually increased their fare now. Can the people now afford it? People now trek 2 to 3 kilometers before they board a bike just to maximize the cost. So what are we saying?
Right, let's listen to the DG of Lagos Commerce and Industry speaking this morning as regards what we are talking about. The economic implications of the hike in petrol pump price on
affects
Nigeria.
Everything across board. So when you think about manufacturers and their ability to transport their goods, it affects it. When you think about transportation for people moving from one place to the other, it affects that. So in terms of even just livelihood and the movement of things across the country, it's affected by a hike in fuel cost. Now, unfortunately, there isn't even a uniform position. So in some filling stations in Lagos, you're getting 900, in some places 1,002, and all of this will need to be plowed into the cost of goods and services. And if you're plowing into the cost of goods and services and the population can't pay, then you as a service provider or you as a product manufacturer, you will struggle with the things that you produce at the end of the day. So yes, we did say if this is not curtailed, then the chances are that businesses are going to stop production. Remember that if we were layering a lot of costs on the common man, you're going to have a situation where staff members or employees are going to say, please pay us more, because we can't move ourselves from one place to the other. And if we can't come to work, that means a lot of inefficiency. But even if we can come to work, you have to pay us more. So if that cost is going to be borne by businesses, they have to find a way to, to channel that cost. And it's not even going into the consumers because the consumers can't pay. So yeah, it's really bad. And we hope that government can step up and help the Nigerian citizens cope with these difficult times.
All right, we just hope that the government can step up, and help Nigerians to cope with this difficult time. That was the Director General of the Lagos State Chamber of Commerce and Industries, Chinyere Amona, speaking there as regards to the current hike in petrol pump price this morning. Kayode Ajani, you listened to her, and then she probably reiterated some of the things we'll be talking about.
Exactly. And see, just as she said, and I rightly said earlier, it is going to have, effects on everything, almost everything that we do on a daily basis, because currently now, workers are demanding for increment. You see, that increment is not even the point here. What they are going to buy, what they are even going to, if they should increase to the minimum wage to 250,000 naira now, I can tell you for a fact that it will not still have any meaningful impact in the lives of those that will be collecting.
All right, Kayode Ajani, let me take you up on that. You spoke about workers demanding for increase in minimum wage. The federal government, after a very long battle, took almost a year for the federal government to come up with terms and conditions for paying the new minimum wage, and they eventually reached 70,000 naira minimum wage. And then many Nigerians are saying, at that point in time, we argued. We said, is it really about minimum wage at this time? Why are we not speaking truth to power? Why are we not telling the people in power the things to do at that point in time? Excuse us. If eventually you are paying 250,000 naira, like you said, and eventually people are buying petrol at 1,600 naira per litre, that means 250,000 naira is useless at that point, because the purchasing power is weak. There's no money inside. There's runaway inflation already. Just like economists will say. And then a lot of things are at stake. We have to buy products at higher prices, even when you are earning more. And eventually, your take-home won't be enough to take you home. Kayode Ajani. We argued at that point in time and said, why not the Labour Congress? Why not the NLC and the TUC and other of their sister bodies come together and then advise the governments, engage the government on how to improve the Nigerian economy at that time? And then, just recently, just last week after the hike in price, NLC and TUC, all of them came on board and said, you didn't promise us that we are going to increase our agreement. That was not our agreement in the first instance. You didn't tell us you want to increase the price of pump price. And if we had known, probably we wouldn't have settled at 70,000 naira. And I'm asking the question, were we not expecting this?
Thank you so much. And I've actually wanted to make that point earlier. You see, in the last 2 to 4 weeks, there have been a kind of a reduction in the cost of food items, raw food. In case, I don't know if you are aware. Now that there have been an increment in the cost of fuel now, I'm telling you, automatically, those products will go up automatically in few days' time. And what is the implication? They will start to tell you that, yes, the cost of bringing it from the farm. So at the end of the day, whatever that has been increased in terms of your pay will still be spent on high commodity. So what are we now saying? And just as you have rightly mentioned, as at the time when the labor leaders actually agreed with the government that they will go with 70,000 as the minimum wage, fuel was around 580. Now that fuel has been doubled now, what is the weight?
And that's the question I'm asking. Are they going to be asking for a new minimum wage at this time too?
Well,
Which is obviously is unrealistic at this time.
I have always been of the opinion that labor union are pressure group. Yes, you see, they can lead a call for national discourse, fine. But we should not also forget that they will tell you that their first objective is the interest of their members. But in this case, even if they achieve the interest of their members too are also part of the society.
That's what I'm saying. The interest of their members is at stake at this point.
Yes, I'm just saying that even at that, we cannot still crucify them for asking for better living for their members. At the same time, but what I think that they should do is that their demand should not be limited to increase in wages alone. You know, of course, they always have 5, 6, 7 point agenda. It should also be part of their request as well. You know, standard of living, cost of living, it is just very, very important. Understanding that we run as a system, and the system that we run, you know, once a unit is affected, the whole body is already affected. That is the kind of living system that we run here. Let me put it that way. So TUC and NUC, even though we have agreed that yes, they are, you know, pressure group demanding for the welfare of their members are still part of this larger society. So whatever affects this society definitely affects their members. So, but in another way, I'm just saying that, you know, we should limit the way at which some people actually bully this pressure group online. No, they can speak for their members as well, but in the larger picture, they should extend it to, you know, to discuss issue of national concern. And please, you asked a very important question earlier. Yes, see, shutting down the country might not be the best option. But in cases where you have, you know, governments that are not responsive, you know, that is the last resort. Yes. So I might not say that I'm okay with it, but do we have any choice? And then what is the essence of going to work when you know that what you get at the end of the month cannot even cater for your tip fare? And
at the end of the day, do you think this government will be responsive as regards this issue?
Well, at least they would have, you know, made a statement. Yes.
Interesting one there. Talking about some of the policies and then how the various peer groups have been reacting to the SERAP came on board. They talked about the issues. And I was watching a television interview granted by the TUC president, Festus Osifo, yesterday, and he said that they proposed some certain some certain things to the federal government, saying rather than removing the subsidy in total. Meanwhile, in case you don't know, Festus Osifo also noted yesterday during that interview, and he said that whether we like it or not, the federal government is still paying subsidy. And then he said, rather than removing subsidy in total, that they recommended that the federal government should probably give the NNPC some waiver, in the sense that just like they did for Dangote, sell dollar to NNPC at probably at the cheaper rates, so that they can bring in more. He talked about deregulation, so to speak, and then not just total removal of the subsidy, so to speak. And then he said that if you do this, allow these NNPC to enjoy, since they are the major supplier to the Nigerian market as we speak, allow them to enjoy some kind of rebates in terms of dollar inflow and in terms of foreign exchange. And then at that time, they'll be able to bring in petrol at a very low cost and sell to the Nigerian market, and Nigerian probably will be able to enjoy this eventually. He noted that there's corruption in the with what we call the subsidy regime and the likes like that, but then he felt the regulation would have been a better option. Allow them, just like you give Adangote the chance to buy dollar at that point in time at a very low price, just allow them to bring petrol in and sell, give them some kind of rebates. Don't you think probably these would have been a very good way forward? Talking about what our peer groups are doing at this time.
Well, it is a good one. Yes, at least they are suggesting way forward so that policymakers can implement it. It is part of the social corporate responsibilities. Even as individuals, we can always put out our opinion on how we think that our policies should be. But at the same time, I also listened to it and I read that report actually. But I still do not believe that the NNPCL now have such capacity, because currently the NNPC is overwhelmed. That's the fact.
No,
I do not believe that anything good can come out from.
I hear that a lot when people say the
NNPC
is overwhelmed, and I'm like, what are they doing exactly? What's making them? What's overwhelming the NNPC?
Well, it's because they have built that organization to a point whereby it is difficult for them to do the right thing. I think that's how best I can put it, because considering the nature of our economy premised on this fuel, and up to today, NNPCL in the past named NNPC have been the sole controller of that sector, and still yet we have not been able to achieve anything tangible. We have refineries that are no longer working. Of course, they said that the refineries are now outdated. So what even happens to starting our own? So if you should sum all this together, I do not believe that anything good can come out from NNPCL again. And then, as a matter of fact, if you could remember, we have also discussed it on this show before, that I think that the world powers, one, and the previous president, including this current president, it seems by the time they get to office, I am of the opinion that they always read a particular report on that NNPC and the Ministry of Petroleum that have actually made them to give that position of the Minister of Petroleum. Just yesterday, I was thinking, and I was of the opinion that, you see, it will be assuming the president is not the Minister of Petroleum, Nigerians will have been dragging the minister by now. So definitely they knew what would come after it. I'm telling you. So they knew that it is going to be a tough time for Nigerians going forward. And because of the kind of immunity that the president has, it will be difficult for anybody to just drag him. Even the National Assembly cannot summon the president who is the Minister of Petroleum. So the idea of them giving themselves that portfolio, they knew what will later come. I'm telling you.
Interesting one there. Talking about the issue, the economic implications of the petrol pump price hike on Nigerians. That's what we're discussing on the program this morning. And you too can drop your comment on Facebook this morning. Watch us live on Facebook this morning at omoluwabi 87.7 FM and drop your comments right there this morning. We want to read your comments this morning. And when the time comes to, we open the phone lines for you to join the conversation. Who will rescue Nigerians, Coyote?
Well, we will not stop making reference to the pre-election era, whereby we actually thought that, we thought that relief was coming. Yes, especially, it was popular then, yes, and renewed hope agenda. And then, unfortunately, we are still here. You see, it's actually a point of concern to some of us that how did we even get here? I'm telling you, a single person, what can solve our issue, especially as regarding the petroleum sector, is to have our own working refineries. And it is now a point of concern to some of us that an individual is able to build one. And a country, inside where this individual source for fund, it is quite funny, is unable to build his own. And then do not also forget too that we also go to China for railway projects, loan and so on. Why can't we, some people have actually suggested that, why can't we go there to source for loan to build our own refineries too? And some of us do not even believe that we need to go to China to source for loan before we build it, because by the time you start reading billions stolen every year in, year out, you will realize that it is not as if we don't have this fund. Then what is our problem? Then our problem is, we do not have leaders. And then, just as you rightly mentioned in the morning, you see, our leaders are actually from us. That's the fact. So whatever they are doing when they get to office, it is what they have already been internalized with when they were just normal citizens like me and you. So I will also relate that to the level of our patriotism and the level at which we are internalized with our country. By the time you know that this is your country, and as a leader you have no other country, and you see even the common man on the street as your man, you will have that political will, as we do call it, to actually do the right thing. Because our problem is not rocket science, and our solution is not rocket science as well. These are things that money can do. I'm telling you, in Nigeria of today, whatever problem that we're having, by the time we remove the issue of the mindset, when we are discussing about insecurity, we cannot remove the fact that most of these criminals too have actually developed a kind of a mindset. But the other issue, when it comes to our security agencies not even having the necessary arms to actually combat insecurity, these are things that money can do. Yes, and we might not have it in full, but Nigeria is quite rich. We have all the resources to make us rich.
Interesting one there. All right, this is still Periscope on omoluwabi, the 7.7 FM. And at this time, we need to go on a very short commercial break. And when we return, we'll be talking more the economic impacts of the petrol price hike on Nigerians. Many organizations have come out to say Nigerians will lose their job because of some companies will have to lay down their staffs because they can't afford any wage increase at this time. And many have said that probably the end consumers will be the one to pay for it, because at the end of the day, you will get to pay more, even for little. Interesting times, they say. But then, we just hope that it gets better. Just like we've been hoping. We can't just stop hoping that it gets better at this point in time. But before we move on the program, we need to pay some bills this morning. After we come back, we'll talk more. But do not forget that you can also drop your comment as we speak on Facebook at omoluwabi 87.7 FM, omoluwabi 87.7 FM this morning. And when we come back, we'll pick your calls because we want to take your reactions as regards this. We want to know how much have you been buying petrol in your area? How much have you been buying fuel in your area? And how much has this been impacting you economically? Have you been able, what's the transportation cost like for you? How much have you been buying some of those essential commodities, some of those household materials that you just feel you need at this point in time? How much have you been buying them? We will take your comments and thoughts when we come back from this short commercial break. This is Periscope on omoluwabi 87.7 FM. We'll be back.
Fresh news, best talk, hot music, where else?
Omoluwabi 87.7 FM. This is calling on all telecom subscribers who are yet to link their national identity number with their SIM to visit the nearest office of their service provider with a valid name for verification and linkage, or risk losing the lines permanently. Your service provider will confirm your national identification number in the database of the National Identity Management Commission, NIMC, and help recover the bad number after successfully linking your name with your SIM. A link will then be sent to you to automatically link your NIN with your phone number. This message is brought to you by the Nigerian Communications Commission, NCC.
Bàbá tẹ̀lé ni tó mọ̀nà wọ̀kúwọ́kú nìrìn àjò ayé ẹni rọ̀ ní lọ́rùn.
I have a dream.
ní Edu Consult ẹ̀kọ́ advanced level Cambridge JUPEB àti IJMB tó fi mọ́ NAPTEP ó ti wá rọrùn gbà torí pé pẹ̀lú ìfọ̀kànbalẹ̀ lọ́mọ fi ń wọlé sí 200 level ní yunifásitì ẹ̀yà máa fọ̀rọ̀ játa àmọ́ ẹ kàn sí Edu Consult báyìí ní Communication House Fast Junction ní Gbági Old Ife Road Ìbàdàn tó fi mọ́ Ashi Annex tó wà ní LOARM Court Ashi Bodija Junction Báṣọ̀run Ìbàdàn àbí kíni ká ti gbọ́ kọ́mọ gba 300 nínú UTME tàbí 90 nínú post UTME ká ti wá wọlé ẹ̀kọ́ gíga ó sì dógún ọ̀nà àbáyọ rèé o wá gba fọ́ọ̀mù Cambridge IJMB tàbí JUPEB tó fi mọ́ NAPTEP and be prepared for the examinations between 7 and 10 months at Edu Consult. Edu Consult also provides opportunity for candidates on ICT program for examinations like TOEFL, SAT, O-Level, GCE, UTME, Post-UTME and others. Àyè lẹ́gbẹ̀ẹ́ náà sì wà pẹ̀lú fún àlàyé ẹ pè 0813-543-0382. Edu Consult. Together we soar with pride.
My Sabi people, how una dey? Na Sabi people dey listen to Sabi Radio. Omoluwabi Radio 87.7 FM na dem be Sabi Radio.
Alright, you're welcome back. This is Steve Periscope on omoluwabi 87.7 FM. That's before we went on that break. I told you can drop your comments on Facebook this morning. We are talking about the economic impact of the current price hike in petrol on Nigerians. And that's what we are discussing this morning. Like I said earlier, I would love to take your thoughts and opinions as regards some of the things we're discussing here. We want to know how much are you buying fuel in a year? You know, some people have said they are buying petrol as high as 1,600 naira. Some people say they buy as 1,200, as high as 1,300. Some ranges from 850 naira to as high as 1,500 naira or thereabouts. And I want to know how much are you buying petrol in your area at this time? And as that how much has it impacted on some of the essential commodities you've been buying? How much is so those things, those toiletries you bought? How much are they now at this point in time? How much is the transport cost now? We want to know. We want to know how it has affected you. Have you been able to go to work, or you stopped going to work? Just like many Nigerians have said that they've stopped going to work. You know, many Nigerians talking about the issue of these school fees. Schools will be resuming soon, and many parents are scared already. School fees have skyrocketed, and then buying school lunch bags and the likes like that. Buying things students will need for school at this time is also not so friendly. The prices are not so friendly at this point in time. So we want to know how well have you been dealing with this inflation at your end? The studio lines are open 07047 007999 07047 007999. You can also call us on 08053 888933 0053 888933. We want to hear from you. What's your take this morning? 07047 007999 07047 007999. You can also call us on 08053 888933. Those are the studio lines to call. You can drop your comments on Facebook to this morning at Omoluwabi 87.7 FM. Omoluwabi 87.7 FM. That's the handle on Facebook. We want to hear from you as regards some of the things we're talking about this morning. I made mention of the schools resuming soon. And then there was a report on one of the dailies yesterday and saying that if care is not taken, we have more out-of-school children. It's affecting every strata of the Nigerian economy, of the Nigerian state as we speak. We might have more of out-of-school children because even public schools, you have to buy books for your children. And books are expensive now. Imagine parents that can't even afford to feed their children. Are they the ones that will buy books for their children?
In fact, and I think it's going to have more effect in private school because before now, most parents, if you should have interaction with proprietors and proprietors of private schools, they will tell you that when the economy was even good, in a term, they hardly get 70% of their fees. That's the fact. You know, school system, private school system. I'm not talking about the big boys on now. Majority of the private schools that we have around, run on credit. That's the fact. And then since this economy have actually started the way it is, no private school can actually boost that they were able to collect 50% of their fees. I'm telling you, in the last term. And now that we are here now, I can also confirm to you that most private schools that are unable to get 50% as at last term will also want to increase the fee. As at the time when it was not increased, parents were unable to pay. Now it will be increased. So they will be left with two options: either to withdraw their wealth from some of these schools, or to keep on owing. And by the time they withdraw their children from some of these schools, where would they go?
Bringing me to my next question, Kayode. Many Nigerians have been saying there's no big deal. Increase the price of petrol, increase everything. But then, what measures have the government put in place? Are public schools working? Let's take it from the issue of education now. Are public schools, are they working at this time? How well are we? Have we equipped some of these government's own institutions at this time? We're talking in the morning that, and we are saying that it's not. We don't need leaders that will come and bamboozle us, that will talk too much. And they say, we'll do this, speak big grammars. We've always been hearing great speech being delivered by our leaders, talk, and you clap for them. And then after which, you then said, wasn't it this man that was speaking as regards some of these things? And then at the end of the day, sit back to square one. There are many Nigerians are asking the question, even if you want to do all of these things at this time, federal government of Nigeria, why not put some measures in place to make sure that Nigerians do not really suffer for what do not really feel the pain, so to speak, at this time. All right, let's pick this call before I take out these thoughts on that. Hello, good morning. Hello, good morning. Hello.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning. Your name and where are you calling us from?
Thank you. I'm also calling from Ibadan.
All right, please make your point.
Thank you. On this first scarcity that we are currently experiencing, which is simple thing on the part of the federal government, because they are not taking the rightful steps they are meant to have taken. But now, with the way things are now, which is seriously affecting our economy, we have to rise to the occasion and do the needful, which is for us to have functional refineries. If they know they don't want to make refineries available for us in Nigeria, please, they should sell the moribund refineries and ensure that private investors have the authority to be able to invest as well. It's not like they just relying on Dangote alone as a private investor, when there are also investors who can also supply us petrol in Nigeria and relieve us the pain we are currently experiencing. Now, some states are already postponing the auction date as a result of this lapses on the side of the federal government. So for them, then I want to also use the opportunity to urge other state governments, just the way we have it in Oyo State, where Oyo State introduced omitutu buses. So they should also have their buses available for students and workers of the state who will benefit from free transportation, thereby relieving the people of their state as well. Thank you.
Thank you very much for being a part of the program this morning. We sincerely appreciate you. Too can join the conversation this morning. The studio lines are still very much open. 07047007999, 07047007999, 08053888933, 08053888933. Those are the studio lines to call to be a part of the program this morning. You can drop your comment too on Facebook at omoluwabi 87.7 FM. Omoluwabi 87.7 FM. That's the Facebook handle where you can watch us live and drop your comments this morning. All right, Scardy, like I said earlier, I'd love to take your thoughts as regards the issue of putting the cat before the horse or putting the horse before the cat, which we are currently being faced with now. Many are saying the federal government of Nigeria has just put the cat before the horse. Meanwhile, it's supposed to be the other way around. Our systems are not working. Go to some of these public schools. You can't afford to allow your children go to such schools. And now that parents can't afford to pay huge amounts of school fees, where would their words go? Many parents are saying, many people are saying, even if petrol prices are up, what plans do the federal government have for transportation at this time? What's up with our markets? What's the federal government subsidizing exactly at this time? Let us pick this call also before I take your points. Hello, good morning.
Hello?
Hello, good morning.
Policies are not, they are not even policies to me. Yes, they are just interventions, and interventions that are not sustainable.
Interventions are needed, Kayode.
Fine, interventions are needed, and that is why they will tell you that yes, we have long-term, short-term, medium, and so on. You see, palliative is supposed to be a kind of an immediate relief that is to serve the purpose of a short term. That's the fact. But what do we have now? They will just introduce palliative and they will go back to bed without working on the real issue. Just imagine now, a year passed now, we are still talking about not having our own refineries. It is quite just unfortunate. So what have they been doing for the past 1 year?
Interesting one. Let's pick this call. Hello, good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning. Your name and where are you calling us from?
Yeah, Sunday from Amuloko.
Mr. Sunday, please.
You see, we are just talking. All those behind the refinery are also our petroleum something. They sold our company to overseas, and they have their own share there. So they will not let it to be function now. So it's only God can help us from all these our leaders, not Tinubu matter. Those who are ruling us from 1999, they sold our resources to overseas, and they are just deceiving us until God save us from them. That's what I can say.
All right, thank you very much, Mr. Sunday, for being a part of the program. Until God save us. Kayode, I've been hearing these since I was a child. Until God save us. But then, is God not answering us? God has answered us. God has provided a lot of things for us. We have all it takes to be among the leading nations of the world. Talk about mineral resources. Talk about human capital.
Natural resources.
Talk about natural resources.
Countless untapped ones.
Talk about friendly environments. Talk about everything, but then it seems we are not blessed with leaders.
You see, last week I also passed through one uncompleted building, and everywhere was full with how do I call it? Grass and so on. And I said to myself that this is a flaw that has been done in such a way that a single grass was not supposed to come up. That's to show you the extent at which we have been blessed. Just as you have rightly mentioned, our weather is always normal to some extent compared to some other country. We also have season. Season will also come and go and so on. But unfortunately, we are not really blessed with leaders. But when we are talking about not blessed with leaders, and just as we somehow agreed in the morning too, leaders are part of us. That's the point. So should we now say that we ourselves, as private citizen individuals, is it that we really do not really feel connected to this country? Because leaders are from us. So provided they are connected with this country before getting there, possibly they will have, make a difference. But unfortunately, and some people who are religious will tell you that we are a representation of our leaders. Like whatever our leaders do when they get there, it is a reflection of who we are as a people. Yes, of course, I really do not want to believe that, but at the same time, it appears so. So in real essence, and that is what I've actually been advocating for. And then I think at a point in time, it seems we also realize that there's a need for us to connect people to their country, because that is the first step. And then I think that was what led to introducing some certain subjects at level of the primary and the secondary level, like the civic education. It was part of the reasons why such subjects were actually introduced, that at that stage, people should be aware of their responsibility to their country, for them to know that they have a responsibility to at all times protect the interests of that country. And you cannot say you want to protect the interests of a country when you are in power, when you know that your country need a working refinery and you have been there. Let's not even lay the foundation of a new refinery. It is quite
interesting,
quite unfortunate.
Talking about the refinery, many have said we've handed over we've handed over the fate of a whole nation into the hands of a private individual, and that's the person of Dangote. And asking the question, we have 3 refineries. The 3 of them are moribund. We've always been hearing about.
They should sell them.
We've always been hearing about the fact that the Port Harcourt refinery will start production, and just recently,
turnaround maintenance every year.
and just recently, I think I was watching the news and I saw someone speaking. I can't really place my head around that person now. Talking about don't worry, the Port Harcourt refinery will start working by December, and I asked myself the questions. What exactly?
They have always been picking December of every year.
And I asked myself, what exactly is going on in this country? Is this thing a rocket science? And many have even come out to say, let's forget about that refinery. It can't work because it's moribund already.
Yes, according to those that have been there before. That's what I actually wanted to say. According to those that have actually been there before, they said that all the 3 refineries